Contrary to popular belief, role-playing games really don't go out of fashion. In fact, plenty of people are still playing games that were released 35 years ago. And fair enough indeed. But some people would like to see a new way of playing old games. That is exactly what Monsters and Magic does. This role-playing game, published by Mindjammer Press and distributed by Chronicle City by Sarah Newton, takes old games, as in really old games, and give it a new lease of life with a new set of rules. But is it any worth it? We're going to find out. Welcome to the GMS Magazine review videos. As I was saying, games don't really go out of fashion, they just stop being played. But some people still enjoy playing games from 20 or 30 years ago and adventures because they were very, very, very good. Now, at one point, Sarah Newton, the author of Monsters and Magic, thought, wait a second, there's no game out there that you can just take one of your old D&D or AD&D adventures and play just like that. There isn't. So she set on to make one. And Monsters and Magic happened. Now, Monsters and Magic is sold under the slogan, old school fantasy, new school play. I must admit, when Sarah told me about this and gave me the book, I did, another one of those. Until I began to read what she has actually done with the game. And I was very impressed. Production value. The cover is by an artist called Jason Utah, who is a very, very experienced artist. And it already is giving us a very good impression as to what's meant to happen in the book. If we study this a little bit, this is a completely unbalanced fight between this mighty demon monster that's been ridden by a leech and a wizard, a dwarf, and a cleric, or sorry, some sort of fighter. This is not a fair fight. This is going to be epic and completely out of all proportions and very over the top. And that's fine. I really like the sound of that. How you can control that in battle is a different matter altogether, but then this book let you do that very well indeed. Inside, the layout is very old school. Very, very old school. I still have a few niggles about the art direction because some of the illustrations really are very incongruous with the other illustrations. So it could be a little bit better, but it takes on the charm of the layout style of the 80s and late 70s and builds up on this. And that I really like. It is very easy to read. Although, yes, there are an awful lot of words in here. Sarah doesn't mince her words. She really, really types an awful lot. But everything in this book is absolutely worth it and is necessary. What does the book comes with? Let's go a little bit. You have everything you need to play either this as a standalone game or take any of the adventures and play pretty much on the fly, making very few adjustments, which is absolutely excellent. Only 9 chapters that go from the introduction, creating your new characters, equipment, playing the game, comes with an adventure, monsters, magic, it has to come with those. And I really liked it. Now, what did I like about it? What is new play about the old school? Several things I liked very much. First, you can really take the village of Homelet or any of those iconic adventures and with just a few tweaks that you can almost do on the fly, you can play them. Simple as that. What's different though is the way that the roles are being done. For example, the biggest thing that I really like an awful lot. You have a series of advantages that you can use. You have effects. This is called the effect engine in this game that you can use. Say that you're fighting against a monster or an enemy that has armor class 17, and you roll, your combined roll is 27. For every 5 points over the target that you need to hit, you can either take an effect that's going to be an advantage for you or a disadvantage to your enemy. If you roll 5, you take a minor advantage. If you roll 10 over, you take a serious one, and so on and so forth until they're completely epic. An advantage can be something as silly as a +2 to your next roll, or -2 to the next roll of your opponent, or you create something that gives you, losing the initiative, your opponent loses the initiative for 1 round. It's that sort of thing. It adds a new dimension to the old, ooh, what happens with the excess? What happens when I roll 34? You hit. Well, yeah, but what else? Something has to happen there. What else? That alone makes the effects engine worth it. Sarah goes further with this game. It's giving instructions as to how to run armies. You can play armies. Introduces something called constructs, and anything can be a construct. So, for example, a castle can be a construct, and to defeat that castle, you can inflict a number of construct damage points. Now, damage points don't have to be, necessarily blocking all the walls or demolishing the whole place. It's just how much damage do you have to do to render the construct useless. And the same can be applied to ballistas or catapults or whole armies. So all of a sudden, playing massive adventures can be done without an issue. And the most interesting thing about it is that you can tell a group of players, 5 people, 6 people, you have a construct which is an army, and you have to inflict this kind of damage to this army to actually defeat it. So instead of just saying, if you inflict damage to the general, or if you destroy the supplies, that is all you need. It gives you all the instructions to play that way in this book. I could go deeper and further into it, but I won't. It comes with an adventure, which is very much an old-style adventure, wizard, tower, enemies, undead. And it is really, really enjoyable. I am very much hoping that this game at some point is going to receive some love and get a bigger edition with better artwork and more to it. A few bits of the organization of the chapters, I was a little bit, why are you telling me this now? You could tell me this later, or you should have told me this at this time. Nothing major, really seriously, nothing major. This is a very, very highly recommended game for anybody who likes to play things like Castles and Crusades, and for anybody who's got a library of old modules that you would like to revisit at some point, but play them in a slightly different way. It's brilliant. It's also accessible for kids. I would recommend, though, that to have and to teach children how to play the game. Once you teach children how to play the game, they will be fine. If you give this book to a child right away, they might struggle a little bit, but with a bit of guidance, this is what you want to give kids. It is terrific. And it is tribute to what a fantastic designer Sarah Newton is, because she's managed to take what we've already had and give it to you in a different way that feels different and yet is just as satisfying. Have a go. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.